Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. The Declan Rice saga is moving and dragging on and on and on. West Ham still asking for that £100 million deal. Arsenal and Manchester City not meeting the valuation yet, but of course we still wait to see. But for me, in this video, I'm proposing 5 reasons why Arsenal need to move for CAICEDO rather than Declan Rice. It's a very good deal. It's a world beaters deal. It's a statement deal, but it's one that's gonna take a lot of time in the window. Arsenal will eventually miss out on Declan Rice, and we're gonna go back to square one. When you lose Thomas Partey and lose Granit Xhaka, and you don't sign a statement player in that position, it sets you back a lot of time. So in this video, I have 5 reasons why I think CAICEDO and the deal are much better than Rice and the deal to Arsenal. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. I've seen a few people in the comment section asking me, Cossy, why don't we go for CAICEDO? Now, the reason that's why Arsenal have not moved for CAICEDO is easy. Mikel Arteta has a short list, and until it is confirmed that we cannot get Declan Rice, Arsenal will not look the other way. Now, CAICEDO is on the list since a long time ago, since January. We've looked at him, we've bid 2 times on 2 occasions for him, and Brighton have rejected, right? That was in January. So Arsenal have now moved Declan Rice on top of the priority list, and that's why Arsenal are not looking at other targets, and that's why we're not signing other players in that area. So in my opinion, it's not a bad deal. It is a statement signing, but this is my fear. When we tried to sign Karim Benzema and Gonzalo Higuain for the whole summer, we ended up with no striker, and it was clear that Arsenal needed a high-profile striker. And Arsene Wenger, I think since 2000 and around 8-9, Arsene Wenger last signed a striker in Aubameyang. I think that was 2018? Right, or 16. So between that period of time, we kept on chasing Gonzalo Higuain every single summer, and we kept on, waiting for Karim Benzema to join Arsenal every single summer. Now, if the Declan Rice deal is going to be like that, if the Declan Rice deal is going to be one where you wait for a target that we do not get, I don't see why we do not move on. We are now a big club. We are back in the UCL. We are not bewitched, by the way. West Ham have not used any charm on us. So I still think we have the free will to call this off and move to our next priority on the target list. That's CAICEDO, a much better player. I've done a video where I've compared both of them, and I've said CAICEDO would be a much better player than Declan Rice for Arsenal, in my opinion. Of course, other people don't agree, and of course, that's the reason we have fan channels. It's to disagree, agree, and disagree as well. Now, reason number 1 why Arsenal should move for CAICEDO over Declan Rice: it will save us the embarrassment of negotiating a deal for almost half a year and we don't get it done. Like, we have been, this is becoming a routine where Arsenal put in a lot of work, a lot of groundwork here. We do all this, talking to the player, talking to the agent of the player, bidding once, bidding twice, bidding thrice, and then eventually we do not get the player. Dusan Vlahovic, according to what I remember, the agent didn't want to reach a point where he was not picking our calls. That was also true, right? We've looked at so many top targets, and in the end, the result has been Arsenal getting out of there embarrassed. Now, for me, we could save ourselves the embarrassment by walking away at this point in time. And why I think we should walk away and save ourselves the embarrassment, I don't think Arsenal's 100 million bid will be better than Manchester City's 90 million bid. I'm very super convinced of that. I think Arsenal will go with around 80 million guaranteed and around 20 million in advance in add-ons. And the add-ons will not be realizable. The add-ons will be unrealistic, and the 80 million will be paid across 4 years. Manchester City's 90 million deal is going to be paid maybe across 2 or 3 years with achievable add-ons. Still, they will have a better deal at 90 million that Arsenal will have at 100 million pounds. So for me, that is where you save yourself the embarrassment. That you went in with a higher bid than Manchester City's, and you eventually lost the deal. Like, it will be ridiculous. It will look very, very poor. It will look very, very bad. It will also be a reflection. It will reflect bad light on our badge and on our club as well. The amount of top targets that are actually rejecting the project, that are rejecting Arsenal. Declan Rice will be numbered like 10, right? Rice, Vlahovic, Hawa, all these deals that we're not doing, maybe not rejecting, by the way, but the amount of deals that we are failing to do is just embarrassing. I mean, if you feel like the deal is not going to happen, just walk away. I'm really kind of happy with what happened with Moises Caicedo, because with Moises Caicedo, we went in January, we bid, and Brighton said, it's not that you don't have enough money, it's because we are not selling. It's very different from what happened with the Mikhailo Mudryk one. With Mikhailo Mudryk, Arsenal failed. Chelsea beat us to the player. It's going to happen again. Manchester City are going to come in and beat us to the signing of Declan Rice. And I tell you what, it will happen. Now, reason number 2, save the time. Now, the manager has said, I want my signings before my preseason tour. Today is the 27th of June. We have around 15 days to the end of all these, preseason holidays and everything, and we go into the preseason tour. And I don't think Arsenal will have signed Declan Rice by then. Of course, it's a deal that you can easily do within seconds, within minutes. It depends on West Ham, but that's what I'm talking about. West Ham are not even interested. I've been looking at Charles Watts, Charles Watts' Twitter, and he said, the bid from Manchester City could be the one that gets things rolling and maybe save some time. I don't think West Ham are looking to save time. I think West Ham are looking to, maximize every single, resource they can get from the buyer. And I don't have a problem with that. I really do not have a problem with West Ham saying our player is 110 million now, since you guys are ready to pay 100 million. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with Arsenal sitting there like bewitched mugs, waiting for the parameters to change and change again and change again and change again. So look, if 90 million is not enough, and we feel it is, the player is not much more worth than that, why don't we just walk away? Save the time. You're moving on Moises Caicedo right now. There are no bids, according to TalkSport, there are no bids from any club for Moises Caicedo. The valuation is 100 million euros. Come on, guys. 100 million euros is around 85 million pounds, around 80, because Jude Bellingham moved for 103 million euros. So that's around 88. 100 million would be around 85, I think. I presume 85, 86. 85 million pounds, which is not going to be paid in guaranteed payments. You could have 15 of that in add-ons, right? And then you could have the rest of the money in guaranteed payments. And I think Brighton, I will talk about that point last. The Brighton are really interested in selling the player. And West Ham at the moment, they are not concerned about anybody's time. We have two clubs that really love doing their business early, and West Ham are like, I don't think I know what I want to do, right? Just give me some time. Just give me some time. That's what West Ham are doing, right? So for me, if you want to save time and beat the deadline and get the manager the players he wants by 13th of July before we play our first preseason game, you walk away and go and sign a player that is more realistic. And I don't think Arsenal lose any quality if we sign Caicedo over Declan Rice. I don't see any quality we lose there. There is no quality lost, to be honest. Point number 3, the money. For me, I want to say this. Declan Rice is a 90 million euro player. 90 million euros. That's around 78 million pounds. Moises Caicedo is a 90 million euro player. That is around 78 million pounds, right? Maybe Caicedo could be a little bit cheaper because it's not English and there is no premium, okay? And the marketing, of course, in the media is very different. If Moises Caicedo was the Englishman and Rice was the one from Ecuador, I'm telling you, the scales would be shifting in a very, very different direction. We'll be sitting here saying Moises Caicedo, oh my God, the boy is an absolute 150 million pound signing. If you don't have 150 million, you cannot sign him. It's just the scales are tipping in favor of Declan Rice because he's English. So for me, if you sign Moises Caicedo for 90 million euros, you have saved over, I think that would be, I think we can even go for less than that. But if that is 75 million pounds, you've saved over 25 million pounds. That can get us a decent backup striker. I think that can sign Lautaro Martinez. Like, in terms of guaranteed fees before add-ons, that can sign Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. So for me, look, there's a lot to gain here. And I don't care if Arsenal spend 100 million and break our transfer record this summer. I'm not interested in that. I really want us to smash that record, right? I want us to go big. I want us to make statement signings and do that. But listen, if Moises Caicedo signs for Arsenal in a deal worth 75 million, we have gold. And if Chelsea sign him for anything less than 100 million, they have gotten the better deal and the bigger bargain, right? We have, you leave all these English tax, the premium and the English premium and everything, and you focus on the quality of the player, and we go real valuation, okay? We go real valuation. I think if we went with, real valuation, Caicedo is an 80 million pound player, real valuation. Rice is an 81 million pound player, like real valuation. I think, right, look, I don't take anything away from Declan Rice. I think he's done well. I think he's a good player. But West Ham and how they're trying to milk the situation, I don't think Arsenal should be, waiting for this drama to unfold. Because it's gonna unfold, and by the time the carpet rolls to full length, we will be standing off the deal. We will be standing off the carpet, right? So for me, it's better to walk away right now. But I think the major reason why I want Moises Caicedo is this one. Caicedo is a like for Thomas Partey. The way I appreciate Thomas Partey is very different from other people in the game. It's very different from other Arsenal fans. It's very different from what people see when they look at Thomas Partey. But for me, when I look at Thomas Partey, this is what I see. I look at a player who makes our midfield concrete. I look at a player who makes our midfield impassable. I look at a midfielder who makes a player who makes our midfield complete. Like when you have Martin Odegaard, and the way he presses like a monster, high up the pitch. And then you get a player like Kai Havertz who presses like a monster, high up the pitch. Thomas Partey just becomes, the icing on the cake when it comes to ball recovering and winning the ball back and keeping things ticking and making sure that you have ball control and midfield control in the game. That is what I want in Moises Caicedo. Look, there's all this talk about Decas and Declan Rice. I love him. He's a very, very good guy. Does he have the patience of Sergio Busquets? Does he have the ability to resist the pull, right? To go in advanced areas and stay back and wait and read the situation, read the game like Sergio Busquets. I don't think he's that kind of player, and many people have already started making those comparisons to Frank Lampard. Rice could be Frank Lampard. So if Rice is Frank Lampard, and when Chelsea had Frank Lampard, they signed the likes of John Mikel Obi, Essien, it clearly means that we are missing the point. The point is, you sign Moises Caicedo, he replaces Thomas Partey like for like, 1v1. Declan Rice would be such another player. Actually, I think it would be CAICEDO at the best of the midfield, and then Rice, left 8, Odegaard, right 8. But now because we have Kai Havertz, 60 million, how about we spend just 80 million on Moises Caicedo and get the midfield, overall over with? You sign him for 80 million, you have an extra 20 million to go and put on the table for Southampton and tell them, you know what? I want that guy. And lastly, Brighton know what they want. And that's why I want Moises Caicedo. Brighton know what they want. They've said 100 million euros. Like 100 million euros, that is 85 million pounds. Arsenal should structure it. I tell you what, if Arsenal structure the 80 million bid, right, that we had gone in for Declan Rice initially, Brighton would struggle. There would be conversations within the walls at Brighton whether they turn that down or they sit with Arsenal and, negotiate a structure. Because Brighton know that, Caicedo is such a quality player, but they're not sure if they will get 100 million. They're not sure if they'll get 90 million. But if someone comes in with 80 million and says, bang, this is my bid, I want the guy, I think Brighton would struggle to reject that. I absolutely think so, right? 70 million plus 10 in add-ons, 70 million guaranteed. Maybe the structure would be a little bit unfavorable, like payable over 6 years. That might be a little bit ridiculous. So Brighton might tell us, if you want to get him for this low, 80 million, you've got to pay this money over 4 years. And Arsenal will be like 5 years. And Brighton will be like 4.5 years. And we would definitely find a middle ground because Brighton know what they want. They want to back their manager. They've already brought in, Mahmoud Dawood, and they're looking at Mohamed Kudus. So you see a club that have a clear structure, and those are the people you want to deal with. West Ham, I don't think they're the people we want to deal with. They have the player we want. They have one of the best DMs, CDMs in the Premier League, in Europe. I don't think they're the right people to deal with, to be honest. But anyway, for me, Moises Caicedo, 5 reasons why I think Arsenal need to look in that direction. See you right in the next one.